Close Racing Supply in Eldred, Pennsylvania has been in business since 1996, serving the motorsports industry with quality parts for dirt late models, modifieds, and stock clip race cars. In stock are parts from top manufacturers like All-Star Performance, Weir's Machine, Sweet Manufacturing, Winner's Performance, Willwood Brakes, and many others. CRS is also home of CRS Race Components, providing top-quality suspension parts. Orders are shipped out daily using UPS, FedEx, and truck freight. Find out more at closeracingsupply.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Woah Show, presented by Burnin Hollow Sauce Company. Get your sauce today, where they mix heat with flavor. It's the only hot sauce I've ever tried. It actually made me a fan of hot sauce. Amazing product. I put that shit on everything, but that's already taken as a slogan. Can't use it. And you'll hear from all of our other lovely sponsors at some point during this podcast. And today we have one of my favorite people in racing. He is the world heavyweight champion of great announcers, amazing announcers. If there was a Rookie of the Year candidate, he probably would have won it with his stuff with the Rush Tour. I can't say enough good things about your announcer and PR director for the CRSA Sprint Cars, among the hundreds of thousands of other things that Marty does in his media career. Marty, welcome back to the show.
Nelly, thanks for having me on once again. I know last year when we did this, it was just a day or two after I got the gig with CRSA. Now we're back. The rookie stripes are off. Season 2 just began last weekend as we're recording, and great to be working with the 305 Sprints once again for Season 2.
You know, you guys have gained a ton of traction with the 305 Sprint Car division, which is awesome because you don't think of upstate New York as sprint car country, right? Obviously, we don't have any 410s. There is a 360 series, but full fields, it seems like almost every night, great races. Tyler Graves, when he was on here, he was talking about how good the series was and promoting it. But let's talk before we get into this upcoming season, the Race at Outlaw and all that. Year 1 in the books. What did you learn? What did you learn? What would you do differently? And maybe some things you weren't expecting doing the gig that you got now.
Well, I think we'll start with the things that I were not expecting, and I think without question, that has to be the first-time winners. I mean, there was so much parity last season for CRSA. We had more first-time winners than we have had in this current decade right now. You had, if you look back at our 2024 calendar, Adam Depew got his first ever win at Genesee. You were there as our photog that night. Dylan Paddock had his first CRSA win at Land of Legends on July 4th. Tyler Chartrand had an awesome story, won his first at Woodhull. Dan Cron, his first at Outlaw last year. I'm trying to see who else. Oh yeah, Matt Rotz too at Land of Legends, and of course Bruno Richard when we ended the year at Cornwall. So I think that was the thing I didn't expect. What I loved doing the most in season 1 with CRSA is just creating the amount of content that we got to create more than ever. We did a lot of those funny, random questions like we did. Like the last one we did on the season was show the drivers an old race car of theirs from the trends, like we did with Tommy Radavoy, an old gold cart from the good old days, and just everyone loved it. What I think I'd do differently, man, you sound like it sounds like I'm trying to interview for a job or something here with the way you're treating this. Man, that really is a good question. It's hard to answer because that last season was just so much fun. The most fun I've ever had in any sort of racing, whether it be Rush, CRSA, or on my own. So it was just a phenomenal year last year, to answer your question.
If this was a job interview and they brought up, what is your biggest weakness? Your weakness is you can't ever make a race seem boring. I tell you, when you do those videos from the booth, when you do the calls, whether it be, I know you've done it for sports, you've done it for some races, it's a lost art form to really get a lot. The announcer is such a key piece, right? And there's a lot of great talent in our area, no doubt, but there's very few people where I think, and you can tell that you're a fan of what's going on the track too. Like it gets you excited. My God, it's awesome. And so, seeing you take that next step up, doing all the sprint car stuff, you guys almost got me. You, Tyler Graves, Nolan Groves, and I know that gets confusing. We got Groves and Graves also in the sprint cars.
That reminds me too. I'm kind of glad you brought that up. This was so funny. Before the races at Outlaw Friday, I was talking to both of them in the pits, and they were actually both parked right next to each other. Both 25G cars. So I'm talking to them. I'm like, okay, how do we figure out which one gets the G and which one has to take the G off? My random idea, let's just put them both on the track and run a little dash before hot laps, or go rock, paper, scissors. But nah, it was all in good fun. Graves was obviously 5G, but it was just Mike Emhoff and I were talking about that the day after on the phone. That was like the most coincidental part when it came to our entries.
Yeah, I was like surprised to see Nolan come out there to Outlaw. He's been a PA guy. Last year a lot of his trips were through PA, venturing into New York, and my God, when you show up at Outlaw Speedway, which has the people that love it, have the people that have some opinions of it. I personally am a lover. I love going out there. Spazman is an absolute character himself. Obviously I've been out there for sprint car races, big blocks, late models, super late models. The Rush Tour being out there is always a good show. And I mean, even a weekly big block show. I think last week's big block show, I saw Spazman show like the little recap of it, and there's so many comers and goers. They got that place figured out. It's always, it seems like every time they have a late model show there, it's always just this pristine racetrack. It's so racy, multiple lanes. If you've never been out to Outlaw, I know, they're not a sponsor of today's podcast. But there's very few racetracks where I go out of my way to say, hey, you got to go out there and visit it. Speaking of it, let's talk about Outlaw. How did your opening night go? Finally, you guys beat Mother Nature.
Oh man, I got so nervous when I got to the track. First off, at 2:30, it was sunny. Everything looked good. Siri was doing a good job working on the track. Then I'm looking at the radar, and all of a sudden I see this big cell that's coming west of New York. I'm like, that's coming to us. Luckily, it divided half and half before it got Dundee, so I think it just tipped at the north. So it was like just a good amount of water where I put some moisture in the track. The drainage system dried up really quickly, where we were able to race. And Outlaws put together really good tracks for us in the last two races. August, Mother Nature kind of played a factor too, because it was sprinkling the entire night. And because of that, we had a very fast track throughout the feature with a lot of lanes for passing too. Obviously, we didn't have a lot of moisture for feature last Friday night, but we still had a great race, and some great storylines, Nelly, you know this as well. We don't root for drivers, but we root for stories. And Jeff Tremblay getting his series record-breaking 15th career win was a great way to kick off the 20th anniversary to the CRSA sprints. I don't honestly, if there's only two ways that this series could start off with a bang, either a first-time winner or Jeff Tremblay scoring career win number 15, or even a last lap pass as well. But Tremblay took the lead on lap 2 from Steve Glover, who made his return to sprint car racing after his after returning from his crash that he had last year at Land of Legends, and Glover won his heat. The crowd showed up, the drivers showed up. We had 27 guys in the pits. A lot of good passing, a lot of good racing behind Tremblay after he got the lead, and Jordan Hutton and Billy Van Emmergen Jr. nearly caught up to Tremblay at the end, and Tremblay held off to take the win.
So we're looking at, your season 2. This is what are we expecting here, though, this season with the CRSA? Some of the tracks, races, maybe new stuff, maybe old stuff coming back and popping up all over the place. Where you guys, what can we expect for the rest of the season out of you guys?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things to be excited about on the year here in 2025 for CRSA. You kind of talked about it earlier too. Whenever you think of dirt race in New York, you're thinking of big block modifieds. But with all love for the big block modifieds with good friends up there, I think that the 305 sprints and maybe even sprint car racing as a whole in New York is completely up there. For CR. car counts have been up, our PR views have been up, and our website social media views have been going up as well. There's just a lot of talk with CRSA right now. I talk about car counts, they're very high. We've got, from the looks of it, about 20 drivers or so that are going to be trying to run full time and get in the points with CRSA. Some new drivers that are going to be in the points, like Bailey Boyd, who was a 600 mod track champion at Pencan Speedway. Rott's making the move up to full time. Same with Dylan Paddock. Scott Landers is taking the risk up to full time this year. Spencer Burley, after filling in for Steve Glover, he's going to make the full time run in 2025. Timmy Lotes as well. I think Glover may be trying the Tour too. Zach Sabaka, I would expect him to try to run the Tour with us full time too, now that he has his own 305 sprint car coming out of our Sportsman. It's crazy to think of as well. We were running with the Super Dirt Car Series on the 4th of July last year. In Atlanta Legends, we had more cars than they did, which is, I mean, it's kind of insane to think about, but it's very cool and great for us too at the same time. Other new changes here, we've got something new called the ELAP Smokers Boutique Scramble Dash. A little bit similar to what ESS does in the 360s. We go from 9 through 14 in passing points. They'll run in a 4-lap dash to set A main rows 5 through 7. Winner takes a $100 cash prize for that. Our first 4 races of the year, we are moving from single file restarts to double file restarts, up to 2 to go in heats and 5 to go in B mains and A mains. Previously, it's been single file after lap 1. But this is just a trial basis, so it may revert to single file, but from what we had to Outlaw, was a great start to the year. Couple new things as well I should also mention. A new loyalty giveaway. Take, for example, our 27 drivers that entered Friday at Outlaw. If they run the 2 Thunder Mountain shows, we've got June 7th and July 19th, and an August 8th show at Outlaw, they'll be eligible to win a pretty cool sweet half-box power steering pump, wing cylinder, Gen 2 wing valve. Paul Colagiovanni has been really key in helping us out with the loyalty giveaway. We actually have, I think, 5 or 6 that drivers will have a chance to win this year. Ruggles World of Auto Body and Graphics have stepped up for a post-race contingency, a hard luck award. Unfortunately, Nelly, your boy Tyler Graves got that after he ran 6th and the car broke last Friday. And finally, as long as Mother Nature is not a pain in the rear end, we will hit race number 300 on the year. Last Friday was 298. So right now, the plan is if we run Woodhull May 10th, Weed Sport will be race number 300 on Memorial Day Sunday.
And that's a good place to do it too. That's kind of like it's like one of the crown jewels in New York.
Oh, that's one of my favorite races of the year. Heroes Remembered 100 weekend. Weed Sports got the car count record for us. It was either 42 or 43. The fans will pack the house, whether they're supporting the big blocks or they're supporting CRSA sprints or even both at the same time. I love going to Weed Sport on Memorial Day Sunday. I'd rather go there than watch the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte. No offense to my NASCAR buddies, but it's Monaco, Indy, Weed Sport for me.
Yeah, I mean, on Memorial Day, I'm going to be up at Bradford actually in the booth too. So we'll be all spread out. Memorial Day is always a huge weekend for racing in our area. So hey, besides the sprint cars, where else are you going to pop up this year?
To do a couple other things, I will be filling in with Rush announcing at Outlaw and Genesee that weekend before I go to Weed Sport with CRSA. So I do have those 2 races with Rush. They have not forgotten about me. I have not forgotten about them. So I'm glad to be doing some announcing with them still. Other than CRSA and those 2 races with Rush, I will be covering some stuff for Race Pro Weekly and also my own podcast, RSN Trackside. Some Super Dirt Car Series races, including Super Dirt Week. I'll be covering High Limit and World of Outlaws when they're in our area. High Limit in Ransomville in a couple weeks from now, and then when the Outlaws come to Weed Sport at the end of July. I'll still be doing some Land of Legends Raceway stuff. Whenever they need me to fill in on their broadcast, whether it be for Doug when he can't pit report, or even Steve Ovens when he can't announce for a night. They have me in the bullpen, ready just in case to go if I don't have CRSA or anything else going on that night. So pretty good slate. I think my calendar has maybe 35, 40 races. I don't know, but at least we already got one in the books with Outlaw last Friday.
And hey, everybody, Woah Nelly from a different time than this podcast. And we're here to talk about our sponsors. First and foremost, Burnin Hollow Sauce Company, your presenting sponsor of this podcast all year long in 2025. They have some of the greatest hot sauces that I've ever had. Honestly, it's one of those things where I never was a big hot sauce guy until I actually tried these sauces, and they balance heat with flavor, and that's kind of their idea of introducing a lot of the sauces in with, hey, hot sauce doesn't have to just be burn your face off hot. It's got all these flavors. And let me tell you, I've been super adventurous lately. I've been starting to step up in the heat scale. Big fan of the Blood of Heroes hot sauce they make there, but all of them good, all of them flavorful. So check them out today on their website. Close Racing Supply has been one of our first ever sponsors, and they've been with us for about 4 years now. It's about to be race season, folks, or it is race season, depending on when you see this ad. And you're going to need all the best parts in the business. So go to Close Racing Supply today, and they ship nationally. They got their stuff all over the nation. The best of the best using Close Racing Supply parts. And if they don't have it, you don't need it. That's kind of the thing. It's like the superstore for some of the best parts in the game. They have all the top manufacturers in dirt oval parts. So hit them up today. Afflixtion Racecars has been a partner with us. Look at this. Represent. Got the hoodie on today. Afflixtion Racecars, some of the best race car chassis in the game, made by the legendary David Scott, and also Wyatt Scott helping him out. The Scott family been huge supporters of Woah Nelly forever and ever. Some of our first people that we actually really met and talked to, they've always been pretty good to us, and we're happy to have this as they are the official chassis of the Woah Nelly Modifieds. So make sure you call the Scotts today and get ready for this upcoming race season, and like I said, for the Close Racing Supply bit, because I don't know how often I'm going to change these out. Make sure you call them up and get going. They are a supplier for many of the top brands, and they will give you so much help. It is awesome. Their clients speak for themselves. Look at how great they've taken some of these local stock car modified drivers and added speed to their program. So make sure you check them out today. And how can we not go 5 minutes without talking about our boys, Carpy's Print Company? They made this hat. They made the shirt that I'm wearing under this right now. And they are fantastic. They create these shirts, and I'm telling you, the quality, not only in the design, but these shirts are indestructible. They do wraps, RC wraps. It's a huge one. If you didn't see our podcast with Derek, who is Mr. Carpy's himself, make sure you go do that. But RC wraps is also another thing. And, they do it all. It's a pretty unique place down there, based out of my hometown, out in Olean. Make sure you go see Carpy's and the gang today. Make sure you tell them that we sent you. It only helps our partnership out even more. Victory Fuel is a new one for this year. We have a discount code Woah Nelly at checkout, and just lets them know that we sent you. You get a little bit off. Try some of their hydration drinks. It's not an energy drink. It is a hydration drink. They are delicious. A new sponsor also just recently. This is the first ever ad read I'm going to be doing for them. They're the official sponsor for the Stateline Modified Invasion presented by Woah Nelly. They are Zenfolio. They've been a part of Woah Nelly as a brand, as we use them as our backbone for our website. So if you buy photos from us offline, if you've gotten a season package in the last 3 years, Zenfolio is the guys that we use. We really appreciate them. So if you're a photographer in the game looking for a platform, a sales platform, a place to store all of your photos, a cloud-based solution, the website builder is fantastic. We got to get in there and update our stuff for the 2025 season. I've been I've been slacking a little bit, but Zenfolio makes it so easy that I don't want to say that it's simple, because the possibilities are endless with Zenfolio. Some of their other tools, they have a scheduling app. It's just an endless amount of just great stuff out of Zenfolio. I can't say enough. They help us be professional, just like all these other brands, especially like Carpy's and Zenfolio, probably our two biggest allies, making us look good, from a logo standpoint and a website standpoint. And I can't say enough about them. Two more. Bradford Speedway just got bought by the Isidores, and they are a sponsor for the 2025 season for Woah Nelly and the Woah Nelly House Karting Program. We are very excited to have them on board, and also the home of the Woah Nelly 25 for the third running of the Woah Nelly 25. I'm super excited to bring it there. I'm super excited for the Isidores, and to be able to have a partnership with them is awesome. And I can't wait to wave the flag for Bradford Speedway even more. And speaking of another Speedway that we got to shout out, our last sponsor, and then we're going to get back to the episode. Stateline Speedway, my home. It's in my backyard. And their new ownership, Bill and Lisa, they have been amazing, and all the people that we get to work with. We have one of the best crews in the game. I can't wait to see what we are able to put on as a on-track product. I've been the photographer for there for years and years, and it's super cool to be able, just like for Bradford Speedway and all of our sponsors, to be able to wave the flag, be able to sit there and, beat the drum and be a big supporter. So make sure you check out all of our sponsors, whether it's a racetrack, go visit them over the year. And see what they got going on. I'm sure between Stateline and Bradford Speedways, you will not regret it. It'll be an amazing show for both of those places entirely. But make sure you go support all of our loyal sponsors, and we're going to get back to the program. Oh, his alarm's going off. Professional over here.
All good. No, I can keep going.
It's bedtime for old Marty. Man, it's so cool when people say they do 35 to 40 races. Then I realize that I'm kind of just a psychopath with how much racing that I cover. It's like, oh, there's a rain out back home. I'm driving 5.5 hours because I am going racing. But no, it's super cool. Super cool that you're still doing some stuff for Rush.
Nelly, did I mention two of those races I'll be at Bradford filling in?
Ooh, so
yeah.
Yeah, he is going to be at Bradford, everybody.
Yeah.
I forgot that I booked him at Bradford. He will be in the booth sharing it. Nate Purdy will also be in the booth there. It's really his. He is the home track announcer. It's his booth. It was his booth before he left, and now it became NASCAR Nate. And we will always give him a home whenever he wants to be around, or when he can be around. You can see him also at Stateline, and I'm
glad to see we've got a young gun in our area that is calling NASCAR, whether it be for MRN or is doing like a World of Feed broadcast. So I'm very happy for Nate. I'm not in touch with him, but I'm very happy to see the success he's got going on. Normally, I see what's up with him either through the Bradford page or through Alex Hayden.
And this is, I'll tell you what, and it's cool that he's still in our area, but he's not going to be around for much longer. He's got a full-time gig in NASCAR just waiting for him when the talent's there. So he made the Woah Nelly modified races sound really good. And Hunter Jordan left our area too. He's with Hunt the Front now. So
good for him.
We just continue to farm just absolutely talented people from the local tracks. So hey, there's your advertisement for our area. If anybody wants to steal it, see the stars of tomorrow today, because it's so true. I mean, look at the pipeline that has been starting to the top from our area, from the behind the scenes. Kyle Windsor going full time with Flo. He is like the high limit guy. So it's an endless amount of talent coming out of here. Hopefully we got big shoes to fill when these guys start leaving. But I can't
say it
wait.
all the time, Nelly. You start at your local short track. If anyone's interested in getting into announcing or videographing or photographing, you start your local short track and look where all of our fellow Western New Yorkers or PAers have gone from here.
Yeah, and I mean, super cool. Can't wait. It's hopefully Mother Nature lets us play here in the next couple weeks.
That's been a good start for Rush, unfortunately. With all
I
their
feel
lineup
so
being
bad
full.
because they
Yeah.
always schedule all these awesome places, and I'm like, yes, I can go to some Rush races early and follow all our New Yorkers down to Tyler County, Ohio Valley, Bridgeport, New Jersey, and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's always one of my favorite places to
Oh, I
go,
love
even
Pittsburgh.
though that the first Rush race, because I wasn't there for the Pittsburgher, between Tim Schafer and Bam Bam. My God, go watch it now if you haven't. It is good. The crates race there, really good. I know. It's kind of we're gonna go back to the thing I said about Outlaw, because there are its haters, there are its lovers. Put me over here in the lovers. I always like to make my trips down there when I can. It's one of those places where you have to see to believe it, and especially for a 410 sprint car show. Oh my God, You can't even imagine. You can't even explain the speeds they're getting to.
I believe the
I think it was
305 would be
Ben Easler.
faster.
Ben Easler said that the crates and the supers were almost similar speeds during the Pittsburgher when the track slicked off.
Crazy.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
So Marty, give me your elevator pitch for this year for the CRSA sprints. I've been doing this to all the track promoters, series promoters. Tell me, if I said, "Oh, I'm a dirt track fan," why should I come to one of your shows?
Car counts, there is always a driver to root for, whether it be an up-and-comer, very fast driver. Every driver's got a story out there in the field. So much racing going on throughout a feature or a feat. Or I'm sorry, a feature or a heat. I apologize. We're near 300 and we're 20 seasons strong. The first year in 2006 when CRSA ran, they were probably having 5-car features, I believe, from what I was looking at when it came to car count histories. Then it went up to 10 at points. And now look at this. We had 27 last weekend, and back at Weed Sport last year, we had over 40. At this rate, I would not be surprised if at one point this year, with all we got going on that's new for 2025, we hit 50 drivers this year at one point. But stacked field of 305 drivers from throughout the state of New York. We don't race until May 10th at Woodhull. Hope you come out. That was a phenomenal show last year. Hope you join us once again. We've got a couple of shows that will end the year that are more than 1,000 to win, because that's normally what our show pays to win. We've got 4,000 to win shows mid-September at Woodhull Raceway. I believe, I'm pulling up the calendar right now on the end of the year. That's in mid-September, September 12th to the 13th. Season finale at Outlaw, October 17th to the 18th. They're out New York 305 Nationals, $4,000 to win. You got to come out to our races. If you can't, most of them will be broadcasted out live. Check out our website, crsasprints.com, for more details on the schedule, the points, the stats of drivers, and a whole lot more. Or follow us on social media on Facebook or X at CRSA Sprints. And if you don't know our page, we have been known for having a lot of fun on the CRSA page, whether it be race day or we're bored, we're posting memes relating to a race.
Honestly, it's what I hope that we can create good content at Stateline with. Essays really embrace the social media stuff. I hope we can do more like that. I hope more tracks are able to do stuff like that. I know it's a lot time consuming, and it's kind of scary to give the reins to some snot-nosed brat like us to start creating content. But hey, I don't think you were on when we started this for the Fast 5 questions. We actually have a format now, Marty. I know the beginning, middle, and most of it doesn't have a format. It's just me asking questions. But we finally have an ending segment. I think this was before your time. You're an ancient. You're one of the OGs.
The first time you and I did this, there was no Fast 5.
No, but this is actually the Fast 5 like 2.0, because we've changed questions. So, Marty, and you can upset people on this one. That's what this podcast is for. Who's your favorite race car driver?
Favorite race car driver? I grew up as a Jimmy Johnson fan, then became a Dale Jr. fan, so I still have to go with Jimmy Johnson, and guess what I can say? His last race in the Daytona 500 was a top 5 finish. Who cares about the winner? I'm happy about that.
You mean Rush late model driver Jimmy Johnson, Marty? Come on. That's my favorite joke to make every time, and I love me some Jimmy Johnson too. He had the best late model roof of all time with Jimmy Neutron with a twisted T. I don't think if that thing ever came up for sale, I'd be getting a loan or I'd go broke.
Glad to see the Johnsons too will be returning at Genesee in some way this year. So things look good.
What's your favorite racetrack, Marty?
Favorite racetrack would have to be on the dirt side, would have to be Land of Legends. On the asphalt side, Oswego.
What's your favorite moment in racing?
Favorite moment in racing? Wow. That is a very good question. I'd have to say my favorite moment on the asphalt side would probably have to be when Jimmy won his 7th NASCAR Cup Series title. On the dirt side of things, wow, that is a very good question because there are some good dirt moments. Would probably have to say when Jason Johnson won the Knoxville Nationals, and I think it was 2016, I think it was. So I would have to go with Jason Johnson taking the win that year.
What made you a fan of racing?
I've been a fan of racing since I was in diapers. Same thing I said last year. It's in my family's DNA. They've all been following racing. My mom's side of the family, they were big Indy 500 fans. My dad was an NHRA drag racing fan and an F1 fan. I am pretty much NASCAR, dirt racing, F1.
Man, he covers it all. I can barely keep track of...
I don't cover all racing. I will never cover Formula One.
Well, honestly, man, if you like watching paint dry, watch some F1. I kid. It's probably for somebody. It's just not me. I enjoy passing, Marty. That's why we like going to our local dirt short tracks. And this last one, what are 3 things you're thankful for?
3 things that I'm thankful for. First thing I'm thankful for is my family for supporting me at this point, especially my dad before he passed away last September. You know, without my family, I would not have been able to get to where I am, especially when I had my epilepsy backlash, or you could say something like that, where I couldn't really get to these racetracks without being able to get some ride assistance. They helped me out with that. I guess you could say there are 2 things to be thankful for, my mom and my dad. Final thing to be thankful for is, damn, that is a good question.
We're journalists, Marty.
Yes, we are journalists. I said my parents, so that's 2. Final thing to be thankful for, I guess I just have to say all of my friends and supporters, our CRSA fan base that have supported us throughout the year. Anyone that's lent me advice, I've taken it forward to where I am today, and it's paid off in such a big way. I guess you could say that. So, I mean, I know the 3 things I'm grateful for it's not the best, but those are the only ones I can think of for right now.
I'm going to do a bonus one.
Okay.
Because it applies to you.
Okay.
So, your favorite announcer, maybe the one that might have inspired this journey.
Mike Joy. Grew up listening to Mike Joy as a kid. Still do, obviously, because he still calls the NASCAR Cup Series from... Let's see here. He started doing play-by-play for the 500 in 98. That was way before I was born, or a couple months before I was born. So Mike Joy would have to be the guy. Alan Bestwick, Lee Diffie. I look up to Alex Hayden a lot, obviously, and Dave Moody. So, but if I had to go, my favorite announcer would have to be, without question, Mike Joy.
All right, one last thing and then we'll get out of here. Plug everything. Where can people find you? And thank everybody that makes this all happen.
Nelly, appreciate you having me on. Before we go, obviously, CRSAsprints.com, social media, Facebook and X at CRSA Sprints. I'm pretty much on just about every major form of social media that's not Blue Sky or TikTok, at Marty Czekala. And you can see I'm sure they can see the last name spelled. If not, it's CZEKALA. I know, I got a tough last name. So, at Marty Czekala on Facebook, X, and Instagram is what I mainly use the most. Shoot me a follow. Love talking racing and love talking sports as a whole. We have a lot of fun on social media.
Yes, sir. Marty, thank you for coming back. Can't wait to see you down the road. Probably going to see you at some Rush stuff. Definitely going to see you at Bradford. I can't miss a night to be able to hang out and listen to you in the booth. It's always a treat when we are blessed by the appearance of Marty Czekala in our region. Now that you've moved up to the upstate New York. We got to get you guys down here more. We got to show love for the rest of New York. The rest of New York, aka the couple tracks down here that hopefully we can start getting more sprint cars out of our area because it's coming. I know we said we're going to end, but that the Rush Sprint deal, could start being a feeder into the 305s, which it started to have for the Race Saver sprints. But, always giving more guys more chances to race. Always love seeing you guys out there. But let's get out of here, Marty. We'll see you.
We'll see you, Nelly. Appreciate what you do as well. You take it easy. Thanks for having me on.